Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Urban Legends, the hit internet podcast about urban legends and and similar topics.
I'm just going to keep this in. This is what we've become.
Oh, we're keeping it in. I'm fat-tongued maniac, Chris Flynn, and he's rude, he's crude, he's certainly nude. It's resident bad boy, Mr.
Neil Herbert. You got a touch of Jamie Oliver disease there.
I have, yeah. It's because for breakfast I was eating some leftover duck lasagna.
Oh, beautiful.
Lovely, just chuck a bit in there, yeah?
No, darling, let's give that a smack.
Yeah, go on, darling. Yeah, go on, darling, do that. Go on, darling.
That's it, sweet.
Yeah, what's the matter, darling? Come on.
Just get my kids on camera, yeah?
Yeah, come on.
Get a little media empire going on there. It's not at all infuriating.
Hey, what's the matter? It's the first time you stuffed a bird? No, not me. Look, I've got 2 kids, here they are.
Oh, look, it's my mates from Top Loader come round to have a party. All right, lads.
Oh, look, I've just got a text from Jarvis Cocker. No, Jarv wouldn't text him.
Hey.
Nah.
Text him a middle finger.
Did you hear, Bob Mortimer, the comedian?
Yes.
A hero.
I assume you're doing that for our audience, yeah, because they're probably not familiar with Reeves and Mortimer, in fairness.
So international people probably wouldn't be. Bob Mortimer's sort of
maybe from his panel show appearances. I think.
Yeah. You might, if you've been on the internet, you probably would know him from. He's kind of
YouTube
done
clips on.
Yeah, of like him on "Would I Lie to You" and stuff.
Yeah,
but he was, before he was a comedian, he was a barrister. He was like a lawyer essentially. And at the Brit Awards back in the late 90s, Michael Jackson, who, to be fair, at the time, star was waning and there was some question marks coming out, was on stage doing Earth Song, which not his greatest. And Jarvis Cocker, the lead singer of sleazy indie band Pulp, got up on stage and got his arse out and started.
Well, it wasn't quite that, actually.
It wasn't quite that.
I vividly recollect this, and I think he sort of said himself, because it was a bit of a naff protest. He sort of runs up on stage and then kind of bends over and wafts like he's done a fart, and then kind of just sort of runs off. So he said he didn't really expect. He thought he'd be tackled by security and kind of hauled off. He kind of just felt, because the whole thing, I mean, basically, like there was a lot of, the child abuse allegations about Michael Jackson, and he came out what can he essentially described as dressed like Jesus,
dressed as Jesus with kids around him, with
a lot of kids around him, and I think Jarvis Cocker said, "Well, I felt this was a little bit hypocritical, not quite in the good taste." So he just wanted to do a sort of bit of a protest, but he thought in his head he'd run up on stage, get tackled by security, and then
But they didn't tackle him quickly.
He just couldn't believe how easy it was to get up so close to Mike, especially Michael Jackson. Do you know what I mean? Brit Awards, I can totally get. I mean, it was always known for being farcical.
Well, also it's only Michael celebrities Jackson, in the room and journalists.
Yeah,
so it's not. Yeah. But so apparently, Michael Jackson security tackled him, took him on stage, but they were like properly like ex-military kind of. Yeah. Well,
I'm probably angry that they didn't get him quicker.
Some would also suggest that they were working outside of their legal jurisdiction, what with being in the UK, right? And but basically they were dragging him off, like going to take him to a police station. And so Bob, because he was a lawyer, was like, right, I better go and help him because I know a bit of the law. And he was like, God, Jarvis, what have you just done? And he went, I've shown my bum to Michael. Good stuff. I've been listening. Like one of my favourite songs is a Soul Wax remix of a Pulp song, the Pulp song "After You," which I fucking love the lyrics of. And Soul Wax do a really good kind of electro, like EDM, I guess you'd call it these days. Version of it. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. But I tell you what's not brilliant, Neil.
What's not? I was going to say I was hoping that Pulp would be. Well, they're not still touring, are they, Pulp?
Yeah.
I was hoping are they still touring now?
Yeah, they'll tour now and then, I'm sure. I mean, they were around fucking years before they got famous.
Oh, no, they've been going since the
early 80s, late 90s, late 70s, sorry.
Yeah, I think they started in like 83 or something like that. But yeah.
So, again, I'm not sure how long this episode will be. Obviously, we've done a few quite long ones, so we're just doing like some shorter ones, some little palate cleansers. So this week we're going to be looking at the Rake. Hey Neil, what happens if you mix Nonna's ashes in with a delicious bolognese sauce and put it on some spaghetti. You get what'd you get?
Oh, is this a joke? I can't
Sort of.
Saucy nonna?
A creepy pasta.
Hey.
Do you see what you
I've taken that too seriously. I was thinking, like, well, I don't know what kind of mood was she in when she died. Did she get up with her kids? Would she want it to taste nice? Would that be a bit weird? And I was taking the question far too seriously. There we go. That's an insight into my psyche, listeners.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a look at little creepypasta today. So there's a fair few bits about this one. It's a bit of fun. You can find artist renditions. Pictures of.
Okay. So by creepypasta, I assume you made up on the internet is what we mean by that.
Reported.
Spooky effect.
Reported on the internet because it's the new printing press.
I know. I need to get. See, with creepypasta, I'm always a little bit like, is it a real urban myth? But then again,
I think it's quite funny.
It's the modern platform for creating an urban myth.
I always find it quite funny.
Nobody goes out anymore. Everyone's just staring at their phones. So what are you going to do?
We can't afford to go out anymore.
That's true.
I think it's quite funny when the free speech internet company, Silicon Valley sort of people are like, yeah, but the thing is, like the internet, it's like the new printing press and, it will change the world and change information. What they don't mention is that for 200 years after the printing press, it caused like religious wars. So...
I imagine that once they translate the Bible into English, a lot of people are like, hang on a minute, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why does this mention?
So I don't have to let the bishop have sex with me? Yeah. That's not in there, right? Interesting.
In fact, this is against. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, at the time, most people couldn't read anyway, but there we go.
Well, no, but you could get somebody literate to read. It did come an explosion.
But you know how this works, doesn't it? Because then they become the gatekeeper.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
And then they'll go, actually, no, the priest shouldn't be sleeping with you, but I should. That kind of thing.
And then you got cult leaders instead. And then we go all the way to Russell Brand and L. Ron Hubbard in the modern world.
Yeah, then we go nationalist Christians. That's where we get to the mutant offsprings of Protestantism that popped up in the New World.
I do like. I'm sure you've read, Chris, about the sort of like what the mega churches that they have.
Yeah,
like Wembley Stadium, but just prayers.
But their child's play compared to what people in like Nigeria have done, who basically took the idea of like the prosperity gospel, right?
Nice.
They cribbed that kind of American evangelist.
God appreciates a grifter. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a church in Lagos in Nigeria which can hold over 1 million people. It's like a massive, massive, massive tent.
Not too shabby.
It's not bad, is it? So unsurprisingly, the pastor's doing quite well.
Yeah, I was going to say, sending around the collections.
The poor parishioners in Lagos haven't quite seen the investment they're making pouring back into their lives yet, but it's a matter of time. It's simply a matter of time.
It's a good investment. You've got to go in it long term, people. Yeah,
you can't invest in the short. You're investing for your retirement.
You've got to think about what's your best blue chip stocks. Yeah, they're going to be the ones who've been around forever. Do you know who's been around the longest? God, eternal. Yeah,
and after that,
guaranteed returns. So yeah, if you just want to send in, we can take care of this for you. Do you want to make sure you invest it in with the right religious groups?
At the end of the day,
can for a small commission make sure that your money goes in the right direction.
Look, you're living on $10 a day, if that.
What's our PayPal again, Chris? What's our Bitcoin exchange?
I'm sure our Ko-fi. I'm sure you can afford like a 40% tithe. Come on, it's not that expensive around here. What are you going to do with the money? What, are you going on holiday? Come on, don't have a passport.
I think it's what you can afford, Chris. It's what you can't afford not to do.
Oh, that's
the point.
And the thing is, that's whatever.
How much would you pay for eternal life? You got to ask yourself.
I mean,
you want to go out there and St. Peter's like, couldn't afford a ticket. That's a shame, isn't it?
Bit tight, were you? Yeah, a little bit tight. Wanted to spend.
Where's that money now?
Yeah, wanted to spend it on Netflix and Ferrero Rocher.
Spend it on feeding your kids, but they're heating on.
You shouldn't be feeding. Well, feed.
Feed would have died sooner. Come up here quicker.
Exactly. If anything, it's very selfish. Very, very selfish. God, the thing which you don't understand about God is He needs a regular supply of souls coming up here to power the generators around the back.
That's why. None of your business.
Don't worry about it.
Ways He moves.
You
go looking into that, yeah?
Hey, yeah. Come on. Look, just enjoy the look of this beautiful car. There's no need to look under the bonnet. Come on. That's it. Look, it works, yeah? It probably works.
You're not an engineer, are you? No, but worried about it.
Come on, you just got a human brain. It wouldn't be possible for you to even comprehend what goes on under God's bonnet. His little hat. God, who is obviously an old Southern belle in his bonnet.
Oh, indeed.
He
do declare.
Oh, Mr. St. Peter, are you sending any more souls through soon? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So,
trying to think who Rhett Butler is in this situation. Satan, maybe. Who knows?
Frankly, the Holy Ghost, I don't give a
damn. Yeah, there you go. Now for more slavery. Hurrah!
Yeah, that's what they don't tell you.
Heritage, isn't it? Was it 4 years?
Do you know what? Like,
it's longer fucking holidays. No, I'm European. Heritage, my arse.
So, the Rake. I'm not sure if he's affiliated with the Confederacy, but we'll find out.
I was going to say, is this like a rake, as in like Georgian rake? Like he's a bit spendthrift with money and not on the ladies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, again, Charlie, you've just gone around whoring and drinking, haven't you? Oh, ain't I, Pa? That's why I need some more money.
Oh, this Rake.
Oh, don't be a dreadful bore.
I demand you revoke his membership to the club. This man does not pay his debts.
Yeah, but he's funny, isn't it? He may be a cat in the scoundrel.
No, don't worry. I'll pay his debts. He's such a wheeze. He's such a wheeze to have around. Yeah, so that's where so he died and then this came or something.
Brilliant.
Estimated reading time 9 minutes now, so we'll
whiz through this in record time. So scores.
So as the sun begins to set and the trees huddle together in small dark groups as if shielding themselves against the coming night.
All very evocative.
You step quietly and quickly through the carpet of falling leaves and stray twigs, recognizing and noting as you do every rustle, every snap of branch created by your own footfalls.
So I'm out in the forest by the sound of this.
You could be on a roundabout, which has got a few trees on it.
I'd imagine there'd be less leaves falling.
What, on a roundabout? With all the fumes? You can have trees on a roundabout, Neil.
You can.
You can have rabbits on a roundabout. They're always fun to see, like the ones at Gatwick.
This feels more densely arboreal to me, but anyway.
Okay.
I'm going forest, Chris, but that's fine. Let's say, is it a roundabout? Is it a forest? We'll find out, won't we?
We will find out.
Maybe it's a car park.
And I hope you're ready to eat some humble pie.
Yeah. Ever ready.
You note them so you can distinguish them from the other sounds. Soft rustling of leaves, the crack of bracken somewhere behind you. You increase your speed, knowing that night is not the only thing drawing closer.
Ooh. So I'm in the forest for unspecified reasons, knowing that there's...
Well, why would you be in a forest?
Or on a haunted roundabout.
Why would you be on a roundabout or a forest? Well, on a roundabout at night...
Not a lot of bracken on roundabouts, I'll say that much, Chris, but...
You know all the roundabouts in the UK, do you know?
Yeah.
As well as I do, with my eyes by book of roundabouts, which I
spend before, Chris, don't test my roundabout knowledge. Going to make a fool of yourself.
That's true. Well, you're from the Midlands.
Come at the roundabout, King. You best on this. Milton Keynes? You having a fucking laugh? I don't know roundabouts in Milton Keynes.
You increase your speed, knowing that night is not the only thing drawing closer. The sound increases as your pace and heartbeats quicken. You turn and the fading light catches a single glimpse of the hunched, crawling thing that is pursuing you. Creeping forward.
Gimp from one of our earlier episodes.
No, he wasn't hunched. He was out and proud.
Well, he did sometimes do some spasming on the floor.
That's not. Yeah. That's part of the scene. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, you were his fan, to be fair.
I do. Yeah, I am. Yeah. And we're, I slid into his DMs, and we're quite good friends now. It's fine.
Fair enough.
Creeping forward like an animal, and yet looking so horribly human. You only caught a single glimpse, but then you start to run. One glimpse is enough.
This is sounding like we were talking about Michael Jackson. It's sounding like the intro to Thriller. Just imagine, it wasn't Peter Cushing. Who read was it, oh God, I can't remember his name. I don't think it was Peter Cushing.
Lee. No, not Lee.
No, it wasn't Christopher Lee.
No.
He's the American guy, I think.
Yeah.
He's got that very sonorous voice.
Yeah. Does all the horror stuff.
Yeah. I can't remember.
It'll come to
matter. It'll come to us.
So overview. So that was just merely to get you in the mood.
Ooh.
Mostly associated with the image of a bald, pale-skinned creature hunched at an angle with bright orb-like eyes staring into the camera. Sounds like Moby. The Rake has become a staple.
That would terrify me if I bumped into Moby in the
on a roundabout in Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Especially Vincent Price was there.
Just trying to find some blues that's out of copyright.
Yeah,
could do a new album.
Or writing stories about people that are not at all true and having to retract them.
He was weirdly, he was going out with Natalie Portman when she was like 20 and he was like 35 or something.
No, well, here's the thing. That's his recollection. This is what I was referring to. This looks really creepy. He wrote in his autobiography like, "Oh yeah, I had a whole sort of thing with Natalie Portman." She's like, "You were a fucking creep, and no, we never dated."
Really?
Yeah. It's like, sorry, retraction here. Can you, because he basically, and he was like, "Oh, maybe I kind of got the wrong end of the stick," and it's like, "No, you pretty much."
Well, you bumped into someone twice. And you're like, right, we're dating now.
Basically, they met like two or three. I can't remember all the details, so I'm not going to.
Well, they were in like a similar social circle.
In his autobiography, he basically says that they dated for like 3 months or whatever it was, or a while, whatever. But then she came out and said, "No, I want to, just want to make this clear. I never had any relationship of any type.
Never met him
or whatever."
I
think they kind of like met or something. Yeah. Been in similar spheres or whatever.
God, that's a fucking.
But she basically said, and then he kind of like said, "Oh, maybe you recollected it." He kind of like tried to it and then kind of retracted.
Well, maybe it was a situation. No, it wasn't a situation.
Remember things differently, and it's like, no, you're because she's no one's full Natalie Portman, but yeah,
she's not. She's really clever,
very smart lady. Yeah. But came out and made it very clear she was completely uncomfortable with him making up a story about them having dates, which was absolutely untrue.
What a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
To put that, it's not something I would do anyway, but you could imagine like blokes in a pub going, "Oh yeah, I dated her for a bit," but not like famous
autobiography where somebody's going to see it and go, well, no. Yeah. Put yourself open to that.
He probably fucking typed that bit with one hand, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I think that was the kind of, the wish becoming father of the thought or whatever. But that was, very much his fantasy view of how things would have gone. But by all accounts.
And do you know how I know that he wasn't? It's because I was dating her at that time.
Of course.
And if she says anything against that, then that's her misremembering. Or perhaps trying to distance herself from me now that I've become super rad.
Yeah, I really can't remember all the details, but look it up. It's worth a lot if you want a cheap laugh, listeners. Chris, just especially because I seem to recall like his backtracking. Like he sort of tried to evade it at first, then ends up making something. Because the thing is, as well, he's got this whole kind of like, "Oh yeah, I'm kind of like this vegan nice guy," and mate, you're a bit of a creep, mate.
Yeah, you're like actually quite toxic.
Yeah.
I went out with her.
Yeah.
Oh, you heard that Megan Fox? Banged her. Don't worry about it. Oh, Halle Berry? She was asking for it, but I was already busy being in a relationship with Jennifer Aniston at the time.
Couldn't resist, man. And it's like, it's one of those things when you hear somebody coming out saying that sort of stuff, like, I'm irresistible, and they're really, but you're like, mate, you're Moby. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking calm down.
Oh, unfortunately, Cindy Crawford was quite jealous I wasn't able to pursue my my relationship with Madonna.
Yeah. I think, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing, he had a good period of success. I'm sure but
the kids would call it telling on yourself, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's certainly very cringe. I believe that's the
total cringe.
Not to mention skibbity dibbity.
It is hoops a cootser.
Yeah.
So in my head now, in my head now, the Rake is Moby. So that's locked in.
Yeah.
So I'll start.
I'm officially 10 out of 10 for speaking, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'll
Moby looking Rake.
I'll start that sentence again, and we'll all be imagining Moby creeping through the woods.
Through the woods at night.
With a T-shirt with a rainbow on it or something. Yeah. And a pair of vegan shoes.
Because he's deliberately dressing up in sheep's clothing, all the better to try and tempt you. Oh, no, he's got a T-shirt, rainbow, saying, nice guy.
Happy world.
One of the good ones, lady. I promise. Yeah, that's a fucking red flag.
Always in the friend zone, frowny face. Why won't someone see how sensitive I am? So, the Moby, mostly associated with the image of a ball, pale-skinned creature, punched at an angle with bright black eyes staring into the camera.
Yeah, this is all working.
Fucking perfect, isn't it?
It's still working.
The Moby has become a staple creepypasta monster, adopted by many authors.
The album Play, yeah.
Adopted by many authors, the shorthand for a creature resembling the one depicted in the photo and placed in various settings. During summer 2003, events in the northeastern United States involving a strange human-like creature sparked a brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Do you know, that was fucking Sony music, wasn't it?
Getting the NRA out, yeah.
Little or no information was left intact, as most online and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in rural New York State, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with the creature of unknown origin. Emotions ranged from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort. Basically, I mean, I think this witness could be Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties have begun looking for answers that year. Early in 2006, the collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's all your ears prick up there.
Is that
like
true fact or just something they made up on internet?
There's no way of knowing.
There's no way of knowing. So there should be. You should be able to reference the 12th century source anyway.
Spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group and was able to get some excerpts from their upcoming book.
Oh, so did we mention the reference you're reading from today, Chris?
Sorry, it's creepypasta.com.
Oh, right, okay. A reliable source.
It's as reliable as anything on the internet.
No, fair enough.
So, the Rake creepypasta. A suicide note, 1964. I'm not going to do it in a voice because it's a suicide note, even though it's made up. Okay,
yeah, just be respectful of made up people's suicides. Yeah. No, I don't know.
Of Moby's coercive behaviour, leaving suicide notes around. If you don't give me 3 more albums. As I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It's not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice, and I looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. There you go.
But I was stuck at a party with him for 3 hours and I kept falling asleep as well. Yeah,
found in the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Linny, I have prayed for you. He spoke your name. Scary, isn't it? A journal entry translated from Spanish from 1880.
Mm-hmm.
I have experienced the greatest terror. I've experienced the greatest terror. I've experienced the greatest terror.
Rule of 3, good.
I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand. I will not sleep. His voice. That's good, isn't it?
Very spooky.
A mariner's log from 1691, Neil.
Well, if you can't trust a mariner, salty old mariner, who can you trust?
He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed, I felt sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the Rake. So, is he like some sort of? Is he the spirit of the United States of America? Is he, before European settlements?
Yeah, because it sounds just colonialism in general. Maybe I don't know. It's
he's quite anti-colonialist, I would think, or he would say he was. I would imagine.
I was going to say, but given the opportunity to found the East India Company, I imagine he'd be a failure.
He can do more good. Look, it's best he has the money because he could do some good with it.
Exactly. What I'm going to do is make sure, I'm just going to get everyone being vegan and stuff. So I'll actually do net good.
Hi, Natalie Portman. I made you a house made of gingerbread. Something like that. That's what he'd do with the money.
So I'm looking at the pictures on Urban Legends fandom, and they're just, that one's quite creepy. I mean, most of them are just kind of like, they look like something out of The Witcher.
Yeah.
Big old claws and like a skeleton. Or sort of like a, yeah, maybe definitely be more terrifying.
Here's one from a witness in 2006 now.
Ooh.
3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip to Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed and called it a night. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use the restroom. Restroom.
Yeah, he's just having a thunderous shit. So I've been out with
that gas station
taco. That was a mistake. He did insist, though. He will.
Yeah,
every time.
All those trucker pills he took as well.
I don't think you're getting randy tonight.
It's backing me up.
Blimey, girl. I'll get to the restroom.
Call a plumber.
It explodes out.
Call the fire brigades.
No stopping this.
I hope you weren't hoping of having a good night's sleep tonight, because this is DEFCON 1.
I'm just going to go and pebble dash the toilet.
I used the moment to steal back the sheets. Oh. Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Go together like horse and carriage.
Only to wake him in the process.
The Rake or the husband?
The husband, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I apologised and told him I thought he'd got out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet from the end of the bed so quickly his knees almost knocked me out of the bed. He then grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what was causing the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, There was what appeared to be a naked man or a large dog of some sort. It's Moby.
Maybe having a look. He's just
Just
carry on.
He's been having his DMT and he's got himself lost.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
It's harmless. He'll just have a little look.
He'll be out of it soon, and then he'll
wander back to the woods. So he might make up something to put himself in a better light in his autobiography. I'll be honest with you. That's the worst that could happen. I don't think he'll be able to get it up in 20 years. Don't worry about it. There's no harm in him.
Yeah, so a naked man or a large hairless dog of some sort. It's
maybe in some
his body position. I'm going to say
some trendy Adidas trainers.
Was disturbing and unnatural.
A small size hoodie,
as if it'd been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. Okay. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into a fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature.
His husband's not done himself a lot of good in the...
No. Well, he's scared.
And to be fair, yeah, you can be scared as well. Yeah. I was saying he's not going to be able to live this one down.
You never know how you're going to react to a Moby at the end of the bed until it happens.
True. Yeah.
That's the thing, like fight, flight,
give it the big
or freeze, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed, crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until it was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was complete
bebopping and scatting.
Oh Lord, it's trouble so hard. Oh Lord. The creature was completely silent for about another 30 seconds, or probably close to 5. It just seemed like a while. And just looking at my husband, the creature then placed his hand on his knee and ran into the hallway, leading to the kids' rooms.
Oh.
I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. My husband had fallen back asleep. No, I didn't say that.
I was just trying to think, did he have some sort of power to try and make people go to sleep or something? Thus touching the knee.
No, but you know what it's like. Kids will be fine. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flicked the switch on the wall and saw my daughter, Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life.
Okay.
She said, "He is the Rake."
Because that's what you'd expect a kid to do, rather than just crying or screaming.
Yeah.
Just come up with some ominous fucking warning. Mother, father,
he is the Rake.
Before I depart this mortal coil,
I must warn you.
I must give you a portentous introduction.
This creature is no longer simply Moby.
This player on the stage, whom we call the Rake.
He has become the Rake.
I expire.
Farewell. So the creature ran down the stairs. All right, yeah, she is the Rake. My husband drove his car into a lake that night while rushing our daughter to hospital, and he did not survive.
Oh, that went wrong.
Bad night all round.
What are you going to do?
You got to take rough with the smooth.
Got to take rough with the smooth, yeah. Let's be honest, you didn't pick a good one there. Probably, clean slate, because the genes probably wouldn't fall far from the tree either. So,
but why is it that you want to marry me, Gene? Oh, it's because you're the most cowardly man in the whole county.
So he must have killed the kids, then gone into the parents' room, or he mortally injured the child, then went into the parents' room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
When will you learn, Moby? When will we finally, as a species, as humans, when we finally club together and realise what the real threat is to all of us, Moby/the Rake.
Yeah.
Very much like when Reagan was going, I wonder how much we'd constantly be shooting at each other and all that kind of shit if they were like aliens and fuck. Do you remember when he said that famously?
I don't know. I sadly forget that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So being a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first.
Oh.
And the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published and local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed at a hotel near my parents' house. So she had a son left. So, it's not all bad.
Fair enough.
Mopey. Yeah. After we decided to return home...
I put corn over spilt milk.
I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. What's this? All right.
I was referring back to the previous
conversation. Lovely. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. I sensed some romance.
Mm.
He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature now referred to as the Rake.
This is just a meet cute then.
This is a very meet cute.
I'll tell you what, Nora Ephron really went into some odd directions after Sleepless in Seattle. I didn't do that well at the box office, but I'm not sure I like this new she's taken.
I think it's an interesting direction.
Yeah, fair enough. You've got to give it a go, I suppose.
Starts off as a kind of supernatural kind of horror film, but turns into sort of a meet cute romantic, maybe romantic comedy. Romantic comedy, very dark humour. So it took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believe to be accounts of the Rake. None of them gave any details, history or follow-up. One journalist had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. Or one journal, sorry, not journalist.
Oh, yeah.
A ship's log explains nothing of the encounter, saying that they were told to leave by the Rake, and that was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included.
Oh.
This led us to wonder if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night for 2 weeks. It's a lot of admin to listen through that, though, isn't it?
I was going to say, how did you
8 hours? You got 8 hours sleeping, then you got 8 hours listening. So you got like 8. Do you have a job? Because that's 8 hours.
I suppose you could stick it on as like, just listen to it on headphones while you're doing your day job.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Depending on what you're doing, that could be all right. If you don't get interrupted a lot.
Difficult one to
it'd be a weird kind of like today, white noisy kind of. I don't know. That might be quite pleasant if you sort of work in a noisy office, put on some, some noise cancelling headphones, a bit of white noise.
Oh, it's great to see you back. But I'm really sad about all the stuff you've been putting there. It's really horrible. What are you listening to? Listening to 8 hours of me sleeping to see if a monster came. Oh, okay. I'll let you get back to the.
You didn't need a little bit more time off? You seen a therapist?
I appreciate like your commitment to the organisation, but I think sometimes you do have to kind of think about yourself maybe and
the appropriate amount of time to get better.
Is your son's with your parents or something right now? Yeah, or he's with you. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Right. And how that's all right, is it? Right, okay. All right. I've just got to go and make a call to someone. Right. By the end of the second week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed, Neil. There you go.
Oh, there you go. That's how they've done it. Only taken an hour. Did that on your lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
Having a sandwich.
Yeah, it still took almost an hour every day now. It says there. On the first day of the third week, I thought I heard something different.
All quick, slow down, rewind.
What I found was a shrill voice. We all know whose voice that is.
Yeah.
It was the Rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone else listen to it yet. All I know is that I heard it before, and now I believe that it spoke when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason, the voice on the recorder immediately brings you back to that moment. Well, it was a popular album, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very.
You couldn't get away from it.
Couldn't get away from it. It was like the soundtrack to The Beach, all that kind of stuff.
It's not a very good movie.
No.
Cared for it anyway. Good book, but didn't make a very good movie, sadly.
The thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head make me very upset. But I have not seen the Rake since he returned, or since he ruined my life. But I know that he has been in my room while I slept, and I know and fear that one night I will wake up and see him staring at me again.
Oh, hello.
So I'm now going on to creepypasta.fandom.com, which is a wiki.
Okay.
Right. So let's see if there's anything new on this one. Because it might be that there isn't. That might be the Rake.
I've got a feeling there's not a lot more. Well, do
you know what I'm gonna make? I'm gonna make a call, and rather than digging around for stuff which is probably going to be similar, I'm going to say let's score it.
Fair dues, Chris. Yeah, it's a nice little story, isn't it?
The thing is,
a nice little story.
When it comes to what I'm thinking of, that this will be hilarious when this is played out. I'm thinking of the jurors in the courtroom who will have to listen to this entire episode during the defamation case.
Yes.
So just like to say, jurors, hi there from me, Chris Flynn. Thought we'd be seeing you.
Keep it nice and short.
Yeah, we'll keep it nice and short for you. You know, freedom of speech, First
Defamation,
Amendment.
would it normally be a judge?
No, he's done a civil trial.
Oh, okay. For some reason.
To show he's a nice guy.
I'll let you do it.
To show he's a man of the people.
Yeah. The jury were handpicked by Sony execs.
And he's in courtroom with a t-shirt saying, "With justice for all?" ? Written on it. So, spookiness, Neil, go for it.
I mean, what could be spookier than our little friend? No, it's depending. I mean, you can either go the way that we went, or it's definitely. I mean,
presumably the normal way.
Yeah, I mean, likes visiting your bedroom after killing your kids, whispers weird stuff to you, and then clearly up to some creepiness. Yeah, it's pretty.
Been around for years.
It's supposedly been around for at least 1,000 years, or something like it. That's definitely hits it on the spooky front. I'm going to give it an 8 on that. I think it's that would certainly terrify me if I went in my bedroom, whether it be Moby or something more conventionally horror looking.
I think it is. Yeah, it is spooky. It's fucking malevolent as fuck. Yeah. Right. It seems to be warning people away from the North American continent in the early days, and his warnings
Maybe I should have listened.
Warnings were ignored. Turned up anyway. And I think any supernatural creature likes to.
We got McDonald's and Coca-Cola out of it, Chris. So I'm in for it.
Perfect. So I'm going to give it an 8 as well, Neil, because any sort of malevolent creature that attacks your kids and then starts doing sort of lo-fi electronic music is spooky in my
Absolutely.
Believability, Neil. So falls off a little bit there, a little bit of a lower score.
Might be slightly lower.
Might be lower. Do I believe that the Rake exists and has done this? No. Do I believe that Moby exists and maybe has done this and has been misattributed as the Rake? I think yes. So I'm giving it an 8.
Right. Yeah, I mean, do I believe that maybe be capable of this?
Yes. Again, it's a yes, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, but has he done it? I mean, yeah, as you say, it could be an 8, isn't it?
8 for Neil as well. Lovely. Neil, narrative premise.
Narrative premise. Yeah, I mean, between the rest of the tour diaries and all the other, like that Chuck Berry book was like what he really got up to. It's like with a lot of creepypasta. I mean, you can make up your own stuff and have fun with it, but there's not loads on there. It's all kind of like, I don't know what his motivations are. Yeah, they tend to come a bit unstuck here. There's not.
Well, I like the fact that it's got all the history.
Actually, that's quite good.
Kind of more of an ethereal spirit.
I'm going to give it a 6. I'm going to sort of be a little bit on the fence on this one. I think with all of that, the fact that it goes over the years, and then I suppose you could probably be more around kind of like a sort of character thing where, you don't really know why he's doing what he's doing. So not exactly franchise potential, but you can probably get a decent enough movie out of it. So I guess, give it a 6.
6. So, so I think that, so it's got all the history and stuff. Seems to be quite localized. The stuff about it being covered up, I'm interested in, because I almost feel like he could be like the patron saint of like ICE or like the American Border Force, because he's like trying to turn people away.
Or it could be like, like Jaws, where they just want to cover up because they don't want to, disrupt the holidays. They don't want to be making money, President.
That's true.
All these full urban legends about, even if they are true, it's a few deaths versus,
So I think, I think there's stuff there, and you can do stuff, and I can't bother saying anymore. 5. Reach, Neil.
Got to assume this is quite low. This one, it's. I don't know.
It's quite a big creepypasta.
It's creepypasta, and there's just loads of it everywhere. You seem to be indicating that it's probably well known as a creepypasta.
Yes.
But I just think these things tend to be very much for people who are permanently online. Okay, I'll give it a 4 because apparently because I think it's probably not one that will, it's not going to be around for a very long time, is it? And I don't think it's that well known outside of America. Well, it's probably not that well known outside of certain online communities. It's not, you can't say it's something like your family would have heard of, or I get that it might be known in different countries because that's the way these things go because it's online. But anyway, 4 for me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go the same. I'm going to give it 4 as well, Neil. It's a fairly famous creepypasta, but it hasn't really gone beyond that. So I think that's a fair enough total, which gives us an overall score of 51. So not too bad.
Well, a nice little story, which we've had our own bit of embellishment to.
So
have fun with that.
Yeah, if
help us in a defamation case, if nothing else, if other people are spreading the ring.
If Moby's claimed to be in a relationship with you that never happened, then please get in touch at herb.legends.podcast@gmail.com. I'm thinking that'll be a popular one. But apart
that might be our next urban myth is, Moby's dating history.
Moby's not a virgin. And on that incredibly rude note, I'm going to wish you all the love in the world, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.